Hello, this is a reading for Scorpio for 2024 for the YouTube channel. Listen to me, the YouTube. You can see us on Twitch as well. That's where we are for the most part, the Tarot Collective. So come join us there. I like the feel of live readings a little bit better. It seems more what I gravitate towards, so that's what we do more often. And I'm just going to get started right away with some cards for you. Just a little forecast or what to expect, what's coming up, or even a little bit more like what's something that you could hear that might influence or come into play in 2024. Oh my goodness, the cards are just flying out. Like they're just blah, blah, blah. It's maybe a bit messy. Something's a bit messy. The Five of Wands, it's a bit chaotic or a little bit. I've been recently seeing Five of Wands a little bit more like a playful energy because sport, and Leo, we did right before this, had this kind of like analogy of being benched in a sport. So this would be for you to maybe you are not being benched, you're actually a player in the sport. Five is how many people are on the ice in a hockey game. So I'm seeing these hockey sticks and everybody's high sticking everybody. That's against the rules. You get a penalty for that. But if everybody's doing it, what is everybody going to get a penalty? Then who's going to be on the ice? That might be it. Solidarity in sport. Being a good sport about something. And then there's this 5 here. So it's 5, 5, and 10. This is powerful. I think this looks to me like observing who you used to be. Scorpio, it might be like that you it might have been that you had some good fun in it's almost like debate. And it's like debating something, fighting something, the sport of it. The Wheel of Fortune is telling me today about either a portal or it's telling me, so 5-5 portal might be something, May 5th. And it's also telling me about something being temporary. That all good debates get messy after a while. So there's this moment where it's all in good sport. Everybody's kind of playing by the rules, breaking the same rules together so that nobody gets dinged. It's like the solidarity of it being a good sport about something. And eventually it kind of falls apart and there ends up being a winner. And it's kind of like that wasn't the best part about it, the winning. So you may have won a debate or you may be very good at winning debates, but you can recognize in hindsight that it was actually the fun part was when everybody was participating. And there's maybe a tendency to take things to the level of completion. Being the person who ends things is, you might be seen as somebody who took things too far, but it's like, well, somebody had to end it. Who was going to do it? And Scorpio is the perfect person to do it. Somebody who's willing to go a bit further. Because as much as this was way more fun, it can't last forever. So it has to end at some point. Hierophant came up for you before I started recording. You can ask anybody who's in the stream right now. And that's, I've been getting this message that 2024 is Scorpio. Scorpio is 2024. This is your year. This energy is so completely needed for what's about to happen. It's so integral to what's about to happen. It's this willingness to take things one step further, to wrap some things up, to appreciate that things were a lot more playful before. And okay, let's pack it up, everybody. We got places to be. We got places to go. It's not about the debate. There's more to it. It's about the debate leading to something that changes the world. So let's not just get into fun debates on the internet. Let's actually put those debates into action. And if you can't put it into action before the time is up, what was the point of it anyway? Scorpio energy is linked to time. And last night we did readings on the stream that linked time to emotion, basically saying time is emotion. Emotion is time. Emotion. Time is motion. Time is the spin, is the wheel spinning. And memory is what links those two things together. And I see a link here. I'm going to say that this link is memory. I'm going to say that this is emotion. And I'm going to say that the Wheel of Fortune is time. Meanwhile, it's all the same thing. But we're going to separate it a little bit and keep it linked via memories. You'll remember what I'm about to tell you. And it'll be the strangest thing, Scorpio. Pardon me too, your reading's going to be real spacey. It's 3:22 in the morning. We've been streaming since 7, and you're number 11 of 12 readings. So this is going to be something. This will be a little bit more abstract maybe, or, avant-garde. Sleepy readings. I'm awake. I'm aware. I'm in a good mood. Maybe a little bit hungry, I'm not sure. Hard to tell when I'm tired. This is going to be creepy, even for a Scorpio. We're going to get a bit horror here. So if anybody's about to go to sleep and you don't like hearing scary stuff before your dreams, you might want to bop over to another tarot channel for the voice ASMR. Or just tune out my words and take the inflection instead. Because that's all that matters anyway. And that's the first part of the creepy message, Scorpio. Do you know that there are the things that you say, and there are the things that you feel while you're saying them? And we're not seeing any cards here that indicate overt emotion being expressed. Meanwhile, the Hermit here knows there's something underneath it all. And we can deduce based on the fact that emotion is time. Time is emotion. There's always a feeling underneath of a word. There's always a feeling underneath of a debate. There's always a feeling, and this is competition. The feeling of competition and the act of competition, or what motivates you to be competitive. While you are the force that drives the world toward change this year, and the power of your ability to engage in both playful debate and to step up to take that to the next level, to actually say the thing that actually needs to be said. Like, this is a bit of toying around with people, like not contradicting anybody beyond, not proving anybody wrong. And then for a period of time, it goes on like that. And then at some point, it's time to put the jab in, right? Scorpio's good at that. At some point, it's time to put that thing that nobody was expecting anybody to say, because everybody was kind of getting into the rhythm of playful debate. And it's not that you sink low, it's not that you offer a low blow. It's that Scorpio is really good at changing the game suddenly. Whoa, there's somebody who's talking about their dream, and it's a bit horror right there. Okay. I had a dream like that once, super based. But I don't know if it was a dream. It was more like a sleep paralysis, a waking dream. It was a way long time ago. I'll never forget it. In this moment, when let's kind of like forget that the Hermit is here because the Hierophant is here, and you know that you are the force. Like, you can't be the force that drives the changes that are happening this year and not already know that you are. I feel like if there's anybody who knows what needs to be done this year, it's Scorpio, and you've already got a good handle on what types of things you need to be doing. So we don't really need to give you a tarot reading about, what can you expect? I think you understand what's coming up this year and what your role is going to be in all of that. To recap for anybody who's curious, Scorpio's role is going to be to go the extra mile, to say the thing that needs to be said, even if it breaks up a friendly debate and divides people. To say the thing, the divisive thing, even when there's this illusion of unity in what you call maybe good sportsmanship or something. It's still a competition, and you're engaged in it. That doesn't mean everything is a competition, but you are finding yourself in competitive environments, and you are finding yourself in a position where you're witnessing time passing. And as you witness time passing in these competitive environments, you wait for your moment to strike, and you have it in you to do it. We can get caught for years in these endless debates about things without ever coming to any kind of meaningful conclusion. And Scorpio is the finisher this year. It's brutal. But it's true. And as such, just like anybody who has some form of truth inside of them, such as like, the Catholic Church, there's some form of truth that exists in the texts and in the rituals. It can get to one's head. You can let it get to your head, and you can put on some false sense of do no wrong, or it's not even do no wrong. It's basically just because you are tasked with something that is intensely true doesn't mean that everything you do is true. Doesn't mean that you are aware of everything. Just because you're aware of something extra doesn't mean you have more awareness in all regards, and doesn't mean that others who aren't aware of the extra you're aware of aren't aware of something you're not aware of. And this is where Virgo comes in, the Hermit. And you might want to check out the Virgo reading just to kind of see what their message was, because that'll help you to identify who this person is in your life. There's definite Virgo energy in your life. It's a circumstance or a person. And it's more the spirit of what grounds you. What grounds Scorpio? A rude awakening. I'm really sorry. Oh, what's going on down here? And there might be this stance after having struck. In a martial art, after you do a move, you do a pose. Like, there's certain martial arts where there's a resetting to prepare for more fight. And if you've struck that finishing blow, there might even still be one of those resets, because you don't know if you struck that blow until you step back and get yourself into a position of safety and you are ready to go again. And then you realize, oh, that was the finishing blow. Okay, I'm done. So it kind of looks like it's a pose. It looks like it's a aha, ta-da. But it's actually just part of the rhythm of battle. It's the rhythm of a fight, is to get yourself back into that position of safety or protection before you strike again. And so in that, what would be seen from the outside as a pose, but what you know full well is just a, stepping back to make sure that you, there's not more to do. You might not notice somebody sneaks through the cracks here. This kind of looks like the hermit's looking up the skirt. I'm sorry, but it's not. That's not what's happening. What about what's under here? What's under your feet? How about this ground under your feet? Where are you standing? There's a hermit who comes in and says, do you know that there's no difference? That you don't know the difference between time and words? And that's a bit confusing. Sounds a bit cryptic. And I can prove it to you. I can prove it to you that you don't know the difference between time and words. That these two things are linked in your memory in such a way where you can't separate them. That if you break someone with your words, or you break your word, that is what happened. There's no undo function. The pressure is on, Scorpio. That's kind of what we're getting from a hermit who comes in to remind you that the pressure is on. You're standing on the ground, on an earth, in an environment where you cannot separate your words from time, and they will be linked in your memory. Yes, things are temporary. Yes, things only last so long. But in a way, what you do and the things that you say and the way that you strike out. It's not that it won't be forgotten by others, it's that you won't forget it. Somebody's writing in the chat, you have to be daring to make some big changes in your life. It's really challenging, but you got to try to shake your life up. Start with small changes, little things, new habits. And there's a thing here about Scorpio being kind of tasked this year to go that extra mile, to step away and strike those finishing blows, because we need to take this debate somewhere this year. It's one thing to have fun engaging with it in good sports, being good sports and respecting everybody's opinion and giving everybody a space to have their opinion and all that stuff. And at one point, we have to make a decision. What would be a great example of that would be like, if somebody is of the opinion that good things come to those who work hard. That's the opinion, okay? And so there's a risk of having an opinion like that. The risk might be, and what might be debated for that concept is, okay, well, does that mean that all the best things went to the people who worked the hardest? Obviously, the answer to that is no, right? So it's a good debate point. And we can circle around in that debate for a really long time. And somebody might still maintain, well, I can tell you right now, if you don't work hard, you're not going to earn good things. And the good feeling about something is that you've earned it. So, aha, gotcha. It's like, whoa, good point, good point. And then Scorpio might step out. and say something like, what does it matter? What does the morality of the thing matter? Are you here to get stuff, or are you here to feel like you did the right thing? Because if you're here to get stuff, then this debate is pointless. We don't have to solve who gets stuff. We have to go get stuff. If you're here to work hard, then just go work hard. Sure, do what you got to do. And if you're here to go get stuff, just go get stuff. Do we have to decide who's right and who's wrong? Or maybe there's room for everybody in this. And that's like a blow. That's a Scorpio type of blow. Like, just kind of like throwing the debate down. Is there even a need for this debate? And just as the Scorpio, just as everybody's kind of packing it up, because you can't really argue with that. And you can't really sustain a friendly debate is there a need for this debate? It turns into yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And that's not a debate. That's just an argument. As soon as Scorpio backs out of the debate and turns it into an argument, everybody's got to kind of walk away. And sometimes that's what's required. Sometimes these competitive debates need to be turned into arguments. It's true. The debate of whether or not good things come to those who work hard. Doesn't apply to outcomes. Doesn't apply to what ends up happening. So it does seem like the question of good things coming to those who work hard, or like, is that the case? It does seem like that is a debate that's aimed toward providing a specific outcome of good things coming. Like there's an interest in there. Like there's a reason for having that debate. And Scorpio is willing to pull back and reveal the reason. And sometimes when we pull back from a debate and reveal our reasons for even having the debate, we recognize that the debate is pointless. That's the type of thing that Scorpio is here to do this year, is to pull back and reveal the reasons, to remind us all of the reasons, to remember. And as soon as we're into reminding and remembering, we're linked into all of time. That's what the cards are saying. That nobody can really argue with that. You end up being right. It's true. And when you're right, it can get to your head. And what happens is that there's going to be an energy that's following you around. It's going to be a lot of circumstances where you're going to be right a lot in 2024 by revealing the reasons, by exploring reasons instead of engaging in debates. Let's take this to the next level. Let's look at why we're doing this. And there's somebody here who's here to ground you in where you stand in your righteousness. You're not righteous. You're not right for the sake of being righteous. You are right for revealing a reason. And you're right at you're good at picking out these moments where there's a debate where there needs to be a reason. And when the Hermit asks you, this force that follows you around, it kind of like, it's a part of being right, is there will be a force that follows you around that asks you to question where you're standing. Reminds you where you are. Does the fact that you're good at picking out these moments to reveal reasons, picking out these moments where a reason is needed instead of a debate. Does that fact change your stance? Does that fact change where you are? If we let it get to our heads, we can assume we've risen above the common folk. And we can forget that these are people we have to go eat lunch with later. We can forget that our words contain emotion, and emotion is time, and we're not differentiating. The things that we say will last. We have the ability to hurt people's feelings when we reveal reason in a moment when there's a debate. That shouldn't be a deterrent. But when you are that person who is good at doing that thing, you need to be okay with there being a constant reminder to ground you. Otherwise, you're doing it for the wrong reason. Nobody's immune. Why are we having this debate? And directing a debate toward reason? The hermit comes in. Why are you directing the debate toward reason? Nobody's spared. You get asked that same question. You have to be willing to be subject to the same scrutiny that you offer to others. You have to be willing to take a blow that you offer. And the hermit actually doesn't even deliver the blow in the way that you offer, not as sharp as you. The hermit actually just kind of gently illuminates that you're linked to the same thing that everybody else is linked to. This doesn't make you a god. And I know I don't have to tell Scorpio that. That almost sounds like I'm giving you a hard time. Not really. I'm just reminding you that this year, as much as it might sound kind of awesome to be somebody who's in charge of kind of bringing reason into situations, like being the voice of reason, it's actually pretty much the same as being someone who's just showing up for a debate, because we all get questioned. We all get scrutinized. So I guess that's what we have for Scorpio. It's a very small spread of cards, and it's just if you're going to do something this year actively to prepare for this role that you're going to find yourself in, and you don't have to prepare, you're going to start seeing yourself in this role over and over and over again. And I feel like you already have been preparing for this for a while, because we got that in the Cancer reading, that there's just this, when it's this big, when it's something that's really necessary, you'll go through training. And you'll be given signs and synchronicities, and you'll pretty much understand the task right before you're about to set off performing it. What you might not remember and it's for good reason too, you might not remember to question yourself, to question where you stand, because in a moment when right after you have struck your blow, you're not concerning yourself with whether or not you were right in what you were doing. You're concerning yourself with whether or not others are conceding that you're right. Your gaze is outward. We have more than just this reading to give you the experience of a hermit that kind of digs underground and explores what you're standing on just around you. Like it's almost like a fun little thing where somebody might say, oh, that's a fancy looking ground you're standing on there. Is that any different than their ground? Or is that special ground you got there? Is that, godlike ground, or is that human-like ground right there? You're going to be getting those, like, those moments that might start to feel like victories are going to be questioned instantly. Look at your feet. Look down at your feet, and that might be bad etiquette for whatever fighting art you practice, to show that you're unsure on your feet by looking down and making sure they're in the right place. You know where your feet are. That's the confidence that's required to strike those kind of blows. So there is going to be support coming in for you to help you keep your ego in check, is basically what it is. Ego is what links. Memory is ego, is the link. Ego and memory are something like the same pool of water. They both get thrown into the same pool of water. And so we're not going to be discerning between ego and memory. You remember things exactly as you remembered them, and nothing more than that. And the emotion here is what's forgotten about, because the ground is the emotion. The ground we all stand on, what's common between all of us. That you cannot feel that you're hurting somebody when you consider yourself to be above it all. That's kind of goes without saying, right? Or does it? There are certain circumstances maybe where we forget to check. And so that's 2024, Scorpio. You're getting like a serious like reading about, you're gonna be in some situations where you're gonna need some support to remind you to stay human, because it's such a big job what you've got coming up. Oh, cool. There's some chats going on there. I think that's it. And basically what I want to do is wish you a happy 2024. Although I know it's going to be a busy 2024. I can see that. The voice of reason. Take care and come see us on Twitch if you want to see more readings. Twitch is better. Bye.